I grew a company to over $10 million just to watch it burn to the ground. Go watch part one. This is part two if you haven't already, because it's not going to make sense to you. So it all started back in 2021 when this referral occurred. And essentially, this was a new startup, and they had growing debt, as all startups do. And essentially, they wanted to find some partnership with me because ultimately, they didn't have a lot of cash, wanted to figure out some equity deal potentially. And also, they worked with agencies in the past and just didn't want to be passed off to somebody, which I totally got. Anyway, I went through their account, started to kind of structure a plan and maybe see if this would even be something worth my time, because many startups just don't work. And I was like, maybe there's some potential here. So we found an agreement. So bada boom, bada bing, me and my team, we jump into the account. Essentially, I'm just trying to figure out, we're coming into the holiday season. This company's in debt. What can we do to maximize this organic volume that's going to come through, this purchasing volume? Because as you might know or might not know, the holidays, you buy stuff during Christmas / the holiday season. People buy stuff a lot during that time. So it's how can we lean into this? And so they were stuck spending about $2,000 a month because they didn't know how to position their ads well. They didn't know enough about their customer. They didn't know about many KPIs that they needed to be tracking. So essentially, we took them from spending a couple grand a month to spending about $100K within a month and a half of Q4, so November to the end of the year. And that was at a 3x return. So they made essentially $300K within that month and a half. And so things started off pretty well, obviously, but at the same time, I was a little skeptical. During holidays, things are a little bit more inflated. People are just buying more stuff. So it was a matter of figuring out a structure to make this sustainable throughout the year. And so then coming into 2022, it was just a lot of building, a lot of focus, a lot of sleepless nights, and especially with just juggling this along with my other clients. But it was a matter of taking advantage of that momentum. So we were able to essentially continue to spend roughly around the same amount. We're spending about 50 to 100 grand a month. And, on average, we're seeing 2 to 3 times as much as in terms of revenue. So I think it was around $3 million or so for the very first full year of us working. And so the following year in 2023, we went from making about $1 million in a year to doing $1 million months. And so I think our lowest month that year was around 500 or 600K in terms of revenue. So things were moving very quickly in the fact that, we 10x the business twice from the first year. It was a great time for all of us. Everybody was making money. My clients' lives were changing. And, they quickly became my highest paying client in, a matter of just a year and some change. But then the cracks started to show. So like this for part 3.